No one else cares. There's a lot of stuff in this game like that. It's like if you beat Yogg No Light. It's like, hey mom, I beat Yogg No Light.
Did you take the trash out?
No, but I beat it.
Take the trash out. When are you gonna get a job?
I'm dead. Sorry, guys. Bye. Thank God. Hey everyone, it's Marco again. Tragically, Round Eye passed away. A moment of silence for the level 50 warrior who wanted to prove that hardcore was easier, and ironically in his death proved that it wasn't always easy. A moment of silence. So I'll tell you why I died. It's because I was exhausted. I just got up from a nap, having died a couple hours ago in the game, and I feel so much better now. I was dead. If you listen to me in the VOD, I am just a zombie. And so no wonder I died. Of course I died. I deserved to die for playing stupidly and being exhausted. And I watched the replay. What the hell was I doing? I released the mobs like 4 times. And I fought 2 mobs, one of them with the capability to net me, and tried to run away. All I had to do was pop retaliation and the fight was mine. But, alas, I died. And so now I'm doing what I promised. I'm going to review hardcore. I'll give it a score, and I'll recommend it for certain people and probably not recommend it for others. I am doing my part, and I uninstalled Classic Error like I said I would. This was a one and done. This was a true hardcore warrior one-shot. Make it to 60 or die trying. And I died. So I'm out. I'm not doing hardcore anymore. So now, is hardcore worth playing? First, the good. Then we'll do the bad. And then we'll do the ugly. Gear acquisition in hardcore feels fantastic. I played solo self-found, no dungeons, no professions except first aid. And so when I would upgrade from like a white weapon at level 30 that I bought off a vendor to a green of the bear two-hander, oh, that felt so good. And it happened multiple times throughout the run because often the white vendor items, especially weapons for the warrior, were better than anything I had found periodically throughout the run. And so gear acquisition is a big part of why hardcore is fun. Playing hardcore also gives you a sense of accomplishment. You feel like you're doing something great that other people are trying to do and a lot of people are failing at. And so it makes you feel good. You feel on top of the world when you get to a high level. It also makes you feel super bad when you die. But overall, I would say the death aspect of hardcore and having to start over is actually a pretty good thing in terms of creating drama and excitement. Playing hardcore is very rewarding in terms of the community. I love the community for hardcore. People say hardcore community, and that phrase means something. I think it's a term of endearment. There's more good than bad. There's more fun players to be with than there are gankers, right, and griefers. And I really appreciate the hardcore community. I appreciate their mods and their add-ons, and they've done a fantastic job. Now for the bad. It takes too long to level. For some people, that's a good. But for me, having also other things in my life going on, taking half a year to level my character, that's not an exaggeration. It'll take about half a year if you play casually. You play 15 hours a week, it's going to take you half a year to level your character. It's too long. Especially if you play one like a warrior, or you play solo self-found. It takes a lot longer to level than some of the other classes. And so I wish there were some ways to alleviate that problem, but there's really not, because you have to play carefully and slowly and methodically. And so what some people may enjoy, I did not. I did not enjoy how long it took to level, and I did not enjoy how long it took sometimes for the game to get fun. There were long periods of time where I was just grinding on mobs for a quest, and I was never really in danger. And sure, I could pull 2 mobs, but then I'd instantly become in danger, and it wasn't until I got sweeping strikes and cleave, which I'm showing some footage of now, that I was even able to take on multiple mobs. So there was just too much time. Not just the fact that it takes so long to level, but there was too much time between the fun moments. And so that really burned me out while I was playing. I was not enjoying that aspect of the game. It was very telling to me when Blizzard had the Soul of Iron buff, or debuff, whatever it was. because it kind of showed me that they wanted to go hands off in some with hardcore, and they still seem to have that approach. There's a lot of hope that they'll create a hardcore server. I do think that'll solve a lot of problems that I'm about to list with hardcore. One of the problems is the mixing of hardcore and softcore players. And I really think that it's not a fun experience for the softcore player when, for example, the tank dies in a dungeon and now they don't have a tank anymore. Or they're out in the world and they try to group with someone and the person goes, sorry, I'm playing hardcore. You're going to have to wait 15 minutes for that mob to respawn, by the way. I can't invite you. So it doesn't make for a good experience for softcore players. They're also, the auction house is dead on their server because everyone's playing hardcore and the people who are playing softcore don't like that. They don't want a dead auction house. So I really think Blizzard needs to step in and take over the hardcore community. We know that there are enough players across the hardcore servers to at least have a medium pop server, especially if you combine all the Horde and Alliance on the same server and you don't have one for each, like you see with some of the other PvE and PvP servers. I think with hardcore, it'll be generally agreed upon that this is a PvE server and we're not killing each other, but one of the benefits of having a server that is enforcing hardcore rules, for example, killing people when they die, is that griefers could actually be killed permanently and then they have to go level a new character. So there'd be some repercussions. So although this is a negative for hardcore, that there are no hardcore servers currently and that softcore players are kind of negatively impacted by hardcore players, I feel like it's a relatively quick fix to create a hardcore server, one for NA and one for EU, that's a PvE server. Before I get into the ugly, I'll give my verdict. I give hardcore World of Warcraft, as it is today, March 26th, 2023, a 4 out of 10 score, having played from 1 to 50 on a warrior solo self-found. Would the score be higher if I had done dungeons and experienced a little more community involvement? Probably. It'd probably be more like a 6 out of 10. But unfortunately, the gameplay of leveling in World of Warcraft is just not that good. It's always been about getting to the end game and not really about the journey. And in vanilla, in the original game, yes, you would have these wonderful moments where you'd have PvP fights outdoors, or you would have grouping up with people and making friends that you'd become guildies with and all these good things. Those things always happened between long periods of time that we all seem to conveniently forget. Leveling in WoW is just not as fun as people make it sound. Now, is World of Warcraft Hardcore good for certain people? Yes. If you are not playing Wrath of the Lich King, you're not playing retail, then Hardcore is not a distraction. It is your game mode. That's the perfect game for you. It's casual friendly. But in general, it's really good for people who want to make it their main game because it is extremely time consuming. So that's my verdict. 4 out of 10 solo, 6 out of 10 with a group. From a streamer's perspective, and this is the ugly part, there's no question in my mind, hardcore is a 1 out of 10. Most people watching are watching for the drama and the excitement of you dying. They want close calls, they want them now, and they're probably going to click off if over the course of several hours you never even come close to dying. I think the hardest part about hardcore as a streamer is putting yourself near death on purpose, which is something I did quite often, just to try and keep the audience engaged. It puts a lot of stress on you, and it's a lot of hard work to make something that is basically an idle game in many instances, or a flight path simulator for whole minutes at a time, interesting for your audience. It's a lot of work for not a lot of payoff. Some people are able to make it work, and they're able to be successful as hardcore streamers. I think it's a pretty rare thing, and I'm very happy for them. But I can promise you this, they're not having fun. They're working their ass off. I think of all the things I could stream on Twitch, World of Warcraft Hardcore is one of the most hardcore ones to do so. Those are my thoughts on hardcore, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And my final ruling of the game being a 4 out of 10 for solo, 6 out of 10 for group play, and 1 out of 10 for your poor streamer. Good luck and have fun, guys.